Welcome to 2022, built by the Red Stick, man. Remember, success is found when hard work and determination meet God's grace. Love y'all. What's going on, y'all? Welcome in. Happy New Year. Glad to see y'all, man. Built by the Red Stick podcast, coming to you every Friday from Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center. Shout out sponsors, Movements in Motion. Y'all can find them on Facebook. Local dance studio here in Baton Rouge, located off of Sherwood. Find them on Facebook at Movements in Motion. And shout out to Side Kicks. You can find them on Facebook, Side Space Kicks, or Instagram, Side_Kicks BR. Local shoe boutique here in Baton Rouge, man. Going solo for the start the year off. If it's your first time listening, man, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like the video, man, and look, leave a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about. Throw some names out there you want me to get them on, or at least attempt to. And once again, man, Happy New Year. I really appreciate everybody coming and joining, and let's make this thing blow in 2022. I'm really grateful for the new year. One of my favorite things about the new year is really setting the goals that I have for that year. Through my life and through my recovery, for all of those y'all know me, setting goals has been a big thing that I've tried to accomplish. I'm really big on understanding the spiritual aspect of the pursuit of more. I believe that the pursuit of more gets this bad rap, right? Like if you're pursuing more, you're not grateful for what you have. If I can pursue more with hope, honesty, integrity, perseverance, all these principles that I've learned to operate my life in, what's the bad in that? Why do I need to just remain stagnant? It's always good to have goals. It's always good to want to achieve. Now, do I set the outcome for those goals? No. If I don't achieve them, do I beat myself up? I try not to. But I am only human, and I do love to achieve and accomplish and get the things in my life that I want, right? And so coming into 22, some of the things that I want to look forward in life is, I'm a father. I want to be a better father. I want to that's always a front and foremost goal for me, is to be a better father. I love my son. He is me reincarnated, so any of y'all who had to deal with me as a kid, I apologize, man, because he is paying it back full circle. But, so being a better father, growing my reach, growing the impact that I have on alcoholics and drug addicts is a goal of mine. Finding more educational tools for me to further educate myself is an important one for me. And so some of the things that I do when looking at these goals, especially in the new year, is I set the goal and then I break it up into quarterly increments, right? So like, how can at this quarter, right, at the end of the quarter, am I moving closer to achieving that goal, or am I, kind of stagnant on that goal? And so that's one of the things that have worked for me. Another big thing, like I've said plenty of times, I love motivational videos. And so I got stuck in one from Steve Harvey. And I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in a higher power. I believe that he has influenced my life and allowed me to have the things and pursue the things that I want, and guided me through this journey. And I'm truly grateful for that relationship. But I was watching this video on Steve Harvey, and he was talking about these things that successful people do. And the first one is that he said that these two things these successful people do is, he referenced scripture on it, and so he said, you have not because you ask not. And so then he challenged people to go write a list of the things they want. And so I've done that, and every year I write this list. And that was the second thing, was put it in paper and basically, in essence, manifest the things that you want. And so like every single year, I take my list from the year before, I look at it, I take the things that I've enjoyed or that I've been able to accomplish, and I remove them and I add new items, right? And no matter what it is, from material things to emotional things to spiritual growth, no matter what it is, I put it on that piece of paper. And normally what I do is I take that Word document and I make it my screensaver on my computer. So literally, because that's what he That's what Steve Harvey was talking about doing. So you see it every single day. And that's been one of the biggest things for accomplishing things in my life, is making it clear, what do I want out of this year? And then making sure that I understand that my perception on what I want might change. And do I have the ability to be open-minded and really look at these things and say, like, okay, if I wanted said, emotional security in a certain area of my life, while it might not have come into fruition the way I perceived it to, do I have the ability to really open my mind and look at it? One of the big things that I want to do this year is, and it started last year, is more understanding. Young and early on in my sobriety, unfortunately, I had this mindset that I knew everything. And when you know everything, you can't learn anything. So I really, over the last year or so, have really tried to set the ability to surround myself with people that can teach me something. And I believe that no matter what connection I find with a person, if I have an open-minded perception on what I can learn from them, whether I agree with them or whether I don't agree with them, whether I agree with their views or whether I agree on anything, if I have an open-mindedness about it, I'll have the ability to at least grasp something and leave the rest. And I think that's a very important thing for myself going forward, is do I always have, if we look at, I started off talking about the pursuit of more grounded in the principles that I learned, well, humility being one of them. Do I have the ability to know that I can learn something from every single person? And it might not be something like educational. It might be something that by interacting with that person, it's something that I teach myself, right? Or it's something that I learned in essence because of the way the conversation happened or because of the way I handled the conversation. And so with all that being said, like, I challenge people, I challenge everybody who's in my circle, I challenge everybody I come into contact with, like, are you willing to reach for more? Or are you just gonna be stagnant, right? Like, there ain't nothing wrong with having your job at Burger King or McDonald's making $8, $9, $10 an hour, but are you trying to look for something else and move up? And then when you get another job, or are you grateful for that one and happy that you have, a raised income and maybe doing something that you love? But do you have the ability to learn more, educate yourself more on the field in which you're operating in, grasp more, and always be looking for not getting to the next destination, but enjoying the journey to the next destination. Because it's important to realize that life is an event, it's events of sequence, right? Like, there's seasons, there's whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to identify it, but there's always going to be different transitional spots in your life. And are you aware of the journey to get to it? That's where the joy and the hope comes from. That's where the beauty of what we're looking at and what we get to achieve comes from. It's like, do I have the ability to enjoy that journey on the way to achieve that goal? Because if I'm just setting goal after goal and I'm knocking goals out and I'm knocking goals out and I'm not enjoying it, then what's the point of it, right? Like, life is this event in which I grow in understanding and I grow in education and I grow in emotion. And that is the beauty of it. All of those things, right? If you set a goal for yourself to get a new car, right? All of the things that lead up, all the work, all the dedication, all the perseverance that lead up to you getting that new car is only going to be fun for a month or two, right? You're like, oh, I got a new car. Yeah, show it off. Everybody's going to see it. And then it's just your car. But if you can really appreciate that journey and the things you learned and the sacrifices you made to make it to achieving that goal, that's a lesson to then apply to your next goal. And that next goal, you might seek to get a better job or get a career or whatever it may be, or get a better relationship or improve your relationship, or be able to communicate better, or grasp a new group of friends, or whatever, venture into a new business venture, right? All of these things are lessons, right? And everything that we can play into it gives us a house advantage, right? I don't believe in looking at yourself as the past is defining you, right? As I've moved through my life, I've allowed and accepted those past mistakes to be the greatest lessons in which I've learned. And by learning and being willing to be open-minded and being willing to fail, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody who succeeds is going to fail, and everybody who fails is going to fail. It is just something that's going to happen. Failures are a part of life, but can you pick yourself back up? Can you get back on the track? Can you set new goals? Can you apply yourself even harder? Can you work even harder to achieve those things, right? And it's one of the most beautiful things. I talked about it last week. Like, I love the new year because it begins this representation of this new calendar, right? Like, I believe all these people put all this unrealistic expectation. Like, I'm not going to go into the new year saying I'm going to quit doing this, right? This New Year's resolution. But I'm going to set an end goal, right? So by the end of next year, this is what I want to achieve, because we are, and let me respond to myself, like, I am my own worst critic. So if I set this unrealistic goal that I'm supposed to achieve overnight and I fall short on it, I'm gonna beat myself up. So if I set this goal down at the end of the year and then I break it down into quarterly increments with obtainable goals and obtainable objections, and I start knocking them out and I fall short or I don't, I'm constantly looking at it. And then I can carry that in, if maybe I don't reach it. Maybe I don't reach my end goal, but then I'm that much closer the next year. Perseverance is one of the favorite things that I love about life, right? The principles in which I operate within, the principles that I've learned to operate within. Perseverance is one of my favorite ones, and the definition that I found that I love the most about it is steadfast in doing despite difficult times, right? For me, I had to identify what a difficult time was, right? A difficult time for me was when everything was going good. See, I'm good if my back's against the wall and I got to fight. Like, I'm good. I got motivation. I got willingness. I'm ready. But the further my back gets off the wall and the more things start to come into fruition, I maybe get a little complacent. I maybe get a little full. I'm not as hungry. And so do I have the ability that when life's going good for me to recognize that, do I still persevere? Because there's going to be good moments, there's going to be bad moments, there's going to just be moments. And no matter what, can I remember to persevere? Can I remember the grit? Can I remember the grind? Can I remember the hustle? Can I remember the ambition? Can I continue to fight? Can I continue to still play with my back against the wall, even though I got a little breathing room? And that's what motivates me. It might not motivate everybody, but that's my path. And so I'm really big into self-exploration and spending time within yourself and understanding that what is your why? What is your go? What is your drive? What is that internal thing inside you that makes you really want to achieve and move forward and set these goals? And as soon as you find that, I believe a human becomes a very dangerous person, right? As soon as you understand the inner workings of your why and the inner workings of your drive, and you understand that that's forever changing and forever evolving, and you're forever doing self-exploration on that, you become an achievable person. You become someone that achieves what they want, that puts an idea in their mind and makes the sacrifices. I reference a lot of videos that I watch, and it's important to look at when you're making these goals, and if they're financial goals, what is it you can live without? Do you have to get a new phone this year, or is your old one gonna work? Do you have to get 5 new pairs of pants, or will 3 work? Do you have to get 10 new shirts, or will 5 work? Do you have to go out to eat 4 times a week, or will 2 times a week will work, or will 1 time a week work? What is the sacrifices you're willing to make? And then are you willing to appreciate those sacrifices? Are you willing to appreciate the journey that led you to achieve? Because like I said, these achievements, while they're great, while they're inspirational, while they're motivation, if you don't appreciate the journey, they're all ill-gotten. They're all, at the end of the day, I have it, but I didn't even get to enjoy it because I didn't enjoy the journey which led me to it. As a kid, there's no right, wrong, or indifferent, but as a kid, I was given a lot of things, and I never appreciated them. I never really appreciated things given to me. As an adult, and especially in this newfound life and in my recovery, I've worked. And I've worked hard for the things I've gotten, and I've appreciated those things, and I've taken care of them because I appreciate the journey in which I had to get it. I know that it wasn't just easy. I know that it wasn't just like, here's a silver platter and everything you want on it. I had to make sacrifices. I had to work long hours. I had to, not go out to eat all the time when I wanted to. I had to, whatever it may be, right? Whatever circumstance or situation it might have been, I knew that it wasn't given to me, so therefore I appreciated it more. And I think that's what's continued to make me hungry, is that once I get it, I love it and I appreciate it. And even more than whatever it is that I achieve, I love the journey that led me to get it. Because at the end of the day, like I've said it 3 or 4 times already, but it reigns so true to me. At the end of the day, the object or the achievement or the goal or the emotional security or the emotional stability that I've achieved is amazing and I love it. But the journey was the beautiful part about it. The connections, right? Like over the periods of time and over the last 5+ years that I've really embraced this lifestyle, some of the connections and the people that I've met and come across and been inspired by and been motivated by have been part of the best thing, right? Like I have a group of friends that I rely on more than anything, and those relationships and those connections is one of the most beautiful things, and the journey in which I had to take in order to create those connections, the learning of myself and the learning of how to be a friend and the learning of how to communicate and the learning of how to accept and motivate my friends and allow them to motivate me. It's been a great journey, and I'm always real big on perception, and anyone can look back at, I said this in the beginning of 2021 and I'm gonna say it in the beginning of 2022, anybody can look back on 2021 and point out the negatives, right? Like I went through a lot. It was a year of ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's not this, I can't wait to 2022 so I can forget about 2021. I can't wait to allow what 2021 taught me to impact my 2022 and make it greater and make it have its own memories. Not greater, because I don't want to even say greater, but make it have its own memories. I don't want to compare, because 2021 was a beautiful year for me, and it wasn't all good, but it was beautiful, the journey and the appreciation of it. And so as I can have the ability to look back on the positives, right? As I can have the beauty of looking back and looking at the lessons and the things that I've learned and the admiration that I've gained for people and the new relationships and new connections I've created, it's been a beautiful thing, man. And so, leaving you and letting you go on to your new year, I challenge everybody, appreciate what 2021 built you to be, right? Because, there's a video that I show a lot, and it's one of my favorite motivations ever. And it's a guy, Ruby Francesco, I believe is his name, and it was a slam poem, I guess, for lack of a better terms. And it's titled "Complainers," and it talks about one of my favorite lines is whether the glass is half empty or it's half full, there's water in it, so shut up and drink it and stop complaining. And then it goes on to this dialogue about how he talks about how many times the heart beats, and he talks about every beat, every palpitation is a reminder that you're still here. And so if you're making your way into 2022, let that heartbeat remind you that you're built, you made it, you're here, you survived. It might not have been the most beautiful thing, it might not have been the most inspirational thing, but you're still here. And not everybody has that chance. And I know that every time I wake up and every time that my heart's beating, I challenge myself as, what can I do to make today better than it was yesterday? And be better for myself, and be better for my family, and be better for my friends, and be better for my community. And so I challenge us all, right, to stand together, to unite, to build goals, to build aspiration, to build achievements, and while doing it, respect, love, and be present in the journey that gets you. Man, I see great things coming, especially for the city of Baton Rouge. I'm built by the Red Stick. That's why we call it. I love it. And I appreciate y'all joining for another episode. Please, please, please hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think, let me know what y'all want to talk about. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to our sponsors once again, man. We wouldn't be here without them. Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center giving us a spot to host this every week. Movements in Motion, local dance studio, like I said earlier. Find them on Facebook. Shoe Boutique Side Kicks, you can find them on Facebook, Side Space Kicks, and Lifted Fitness and Nutrition. New year, let's eat healthy, let's get into shape. You can find them on Facebook at Lifted Fitness and Nutrition. And we got our newest sponsor, First Priority Medical, man. COVID's gone rampant again. They got PCR tests, they got antigen tests. They normally have a little wait. It's very boutique style primary care office. There's only 3 waiting rooms, so we really try to cater to the experience. They really try to cater to the experience, and it's a good clinic. Like I said, if you want to come get tested for COVID, if you've been exposed, if you want to reinstate or get on your health this year, and you want to find a primary care doctor, their providers are great over there. I visited them last week. They do good work. So shout out to all those sponsors. We appreciate them. We appreciate y'all who listen. Share this with a friend, share this with family, and let's challenge ourselves to be better in the new year, man. I love y'all.